Today, moral opinions are everywhere, but what exactly is morality and doesn't even exist? No one knows for absolutely sure, but what's the most logical guess today as to what it is? In this video, I'll be giving my own personal take on what morality is and where it comes from. If you'd like a 101 breakdown into the various philosophical positions of morality and ethics, check out the video in the description. Again, this video is just my own personal guess, as a few commenters were asking. Now, when answering the question, what is morality, we first have to establish if moral statements like good and bad even exist and where they come from. This is a part of moral philosophy called Metaethics, which deals with the foundations and nature of moral values, properties, and words. So I approach morality from a cognitivist viewpoint, meaning ethical claims are proposition statements or assertions that can be either true or false. In other words, morality and morally good and bad things actually exist in the world. They are ontologically real. I'll detail why evidence suggests this is the case. But first, let me explain my position a little bit more. Now, I don't think there is an objective good and bad in the world, like a good or bad rule that applies to everyone no matter what, written into the universe, a position called moral realism. Think like the Ten Commandments or pain equals morally bad. That makes me a moral subjectivist, a type of moral anti-realism, which states moral statements are made true or false by individuals or groups of individuals like specific cultures. I've heard this referred to as moral constructivism, that cultures and individuals determine what morality is. Morals and ethics are made up by us and come from within us, and societies will treat those morals they've constructed as the correct ones. Now, there's been some pushback against this view because it does lead to seemingly uncomfortable conclusions. For example, the Nazis, in a way, were morally correct in the things that they did. To them, they felt the actions they took to their citizens and others were morally necessary. Now, we today may think they are morally reprehensible, but the truth is, at least according to this stance, we're both correct in a way since morality is relative and culturally constructed. Now, depending on your normative ethical stance or system of morality, you may feel the need to fix other cultures or individuals' moral perspectives. And this is what exactly America did where I live to the Germans at that time. Now today we see this playing out even within cultures. Many individuals and groups of individuals communicate what they believe is right and wrong and update and construct new moral systems from the discourse. So why this metaethical view? Well, simply because that's what we seem to have the most evidence for, not because I necessarily like it. Before you can claim to know what morality is, what good and bad are, you have to provide evidence for your claim. This is a part of metaethics called moral epistemology. The best epistemological evidence appears to lead to the claim that morality is real, and it's essentially a biological and social construct. That means some aspects of human morality are hardwired into us due to evolution, while the society we live in and the people we grow up around determine other parts. Morally wrong or morally right are combinations of emotion and cognition, and according to emergent theories of ontology, exist. The phenomenon of feeling and thinking that something is morally wrong is just as real as the neurons that make up that combination of thought and feeling. And the neurons are as real as the cells that make up the neurons, and the atoms that make up the cells. Sure, that phenomenon of something specific feeling morally wrong to me doesn't exist for everyone, but it's real to me as an individual. So I don't buy into these non-cognitivist or moral nihilistic philosophies that say morality doesn't exist at all. What evidence do we have that it's real other than just individual subjective experience then? Well, neurological research also points to morality as something biologically innate. Researchers have done studies using EEG imaging devices and MRI scanners on subjects. They perform moral tasks and activities. Findings point to specific parts of the brain lighting up again and again within seconds in many different subjects, suggesting that specific parts of the human brain are involved in moral decision making. Also, research has shown that neuromodulators or special chemicals in the brain influence moral decision making. For instance, all mammals produce a very old chemical called oxytocin, which increases generosity and trust. It also reduces fear and encourages bonding in mother-child relationships. Serotonin, another neuromodulator, enhances the bad feelings we have when we see a friend get hurt, for example, and are a key chemical involved in many social behaviors. Research into evolutionary biology and psychology provides evidence as to what could be called the building blocks of morality, as having been seen in non-human animals. Researchers Franz de Waal and Barbara King believe morality to have evolved from primate sociality. They have studied chimpanzees, our closest relatives with whom we share a common ancestor, and have seen them exhibit some traits that would have been necessary for the evolution of morality, what some call pre-moral sentiments. These sentiments include attachment and bonding, sympathy and empathy, cooperation and mutual aid, direct and indirect reciprocity, altruism, conflict resolution, and peacemaking, and much more. Research into children's first few months of life indicate that they experience empathy, judge actions as harmful, and can sense right and wrong. These observations suggest these feelings are wired into us and gradually develop as we age. And much more than that, these are just a few examples of studies. If morality is real, as indicated by increasing epistemological evidence, then we have to decide whether it's objective or just subjective. Now, there's no rational argument or evidence that moral realism is right as of now. This includes moral naturalistic stances like Sam Harris takes that seem to fall into fallacies, such as David Hume's is-ought fallacy. Morality appears to be partially wired into us, as indicated by scientific studies, in part culturally formed. For example, America's realization as a nation from slavery being okay to being immoral. That lends itself to moral subjectivism. Again, no one knows for absolutely sure what morality is and if it exists. This just seems to be the best rational guess based on what evidence we have. That would mean that there's no objectively perfect moral system to follow for everyone. Some people may feel deontological normative ethical theories like rule-based moral systems are right, while others may argue that consequentialist systems in which right and wrong are based on the consequences of someone's action are right. Each individual has their own subjective answer, as there's no objective perfect moral system or objective right and wrong. So those are my thoughts on morality and what it is, at least as the recording of this video. Of course, my theories may change in the future based on new evidence or better arguments. So let me know what you think morality is or isn't. And if you want any more information on this position or anything covered in this video, just let me know below in the comments. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.